Hi everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Yusuf. In this video, I'm going to be sharing about Southwest Doctoral Training Partnership. This is an ESRC funded scholarship in the UK. In my last video here on YouTube channel, I shared the one for the Midlands. So this is just the one for the Southwest. So the application process are kind of very similar. If you've watched the previous video, it's going to be very easier for you to apply for this one. But let's just look at the whole application process briefly. And I'm still going to be sharing an application sample as well that I've completed, which includes a research proposal and other information needed in the application form. So the first thing you're seeing here is this ESRC funded studentship, like the overview of the scholarship. So this application is going to be closing by the 12th noon, 9th of January 2026. So you need to start the application as soon as possible because there are a couple of things you need to do. So the scholarship, of course, they have 18 pathways. I'm going to be explaining what that means. And there is also 3-month placement. There are allowances and grants as well for you for professional development. They pay your tuition fee, they pay your living stipend. So that's what it covers. So you don't have to worry about tuition fee, you don't have to worry about stipend while you're on the scholarship. So, like they've mentioned, this scholarship are pathways. So pathways are just more of courses that you can study through the scholarship. So they have 18 of them, and they have some institutions as well. So for instance, if you look here, so interdisciplinary pathway, they have 4 of them, like interdisciplinary course. If you want to study something or if you want to do a research that cut across climate change, sustainability, and society, or these other 4, yeah, there are 4 interdisciplinary pathways. So it means that you can study something like this in Bath, in Bristol, in Exeter, not in Plymouth. You can't study it at Plymouth University. You can study it at UWE, not BASPA, but you can study it at Bournemouth University and Plymouth Margin University. So this yes means you can study this course in this university while you can't study it in this university. So the university where there is no yes, it means you can't study this course in that university. That's what it means. So for instance, let's say we've agreed to study education as an example, because I have education background. It means you can study education. You can say education here, yes, but you can't study education at Plymouth University. You can study it at UWE, Bath, Spa, and the other Plymouth here as well. But you can study at Bath, Bristol, and Exeter. So quickly, if you just click on education, just to see what it's going to show. So if you click on it, I just want to show you something quickly. You'll see pathway available at Bath, Spa, Bristol, Exeter, Plymouth, Merton, and UWE. These are where you can study education. So this is showing you different research areas that you can study through this scholarship, because this scholarship is for social sciences. You can also research issues around climate change, issues around health, but it still has to be connected to education. That's what the whole theme of the scholarship is all about. So topic could include teacher education, pedagogy, curriculum. So you can read all of these things yourself. These are the areas that they are looking for. So if you're writing your proposal, make sure you're connecting your research to um, any of these areas. You can read this yourself as well for better understanding. I'll just move quickly. That's just about pathway and how much is the award. You can see the value, you can see the stipend, the fee. So don't worry about this is fee for the home student. Don't worry about the difference between home and international. It's going to be covered for you if you win the scholarship as an international student. You have access to RTSG as well for trading. You have allowances via separate application for a separate. So there's a lot of things that comes with this scholarship. So don't worry about this. You covered. So funding length, it covers 3 years PhD and maybe 1 year masters as well, because I think they've changed the way they decide what you need. But you don't need a master's to actually win the scholarship. If you have your bachelor, of course. But when you're applying for this scholarship, which I'm going to be showing you soon, they would ask you some information about the courses you've done in the past. So they would assess your background and see if you have enough research experience. So if you don't have enough research experience, they will tell you to go and study, they will recommend to study 1 year masters before your PhD. But if you already have a master's, they will still assess your master's degree to see if you have a sufficient research experience before you commence your PhD. So let's just next this page to see what we have next. Funding deadline again is here. So scope of the research, like I've mentioned, it's about social science. So we will not fund, for example, a research project in psychology or in a health, well-being, society pathway that is only a series of medical experiments without establishing a link to social science. So you need to read these things that I just highlighted. It's very important, like I mentioned, your research has to be connected to social science. Don't propose things that is not in tandem with social science. Please note that. So home student or eligibility criteria, if you are UK national, but of course I said if an applicant does not meet the criteria above, they will be classed an international student, and of course international student can apply. We are pleased to accept application from international student, but we are not permitted to allow a percentage of international student per annum intake to exceed 30%. 30% of this scholarship is going to be given to international students, so you can apply. You can read all of these things that I'm skipping, but you can read them. So if you're applying, this is the default rule. If you already start your PhD program or you've done PhD in the past, I think you cannot apply for the scholarship. You can read it yourself. If you're not clear about these things, this is the email to contact. You can contact the email to get clarification on your answers. And of course, there is frequently asked page where you can get answers to some of your questions. So the next page here saying what you need, when you're preparing your application, a strong application. We have a research proposal that displays clear potential for originality, impact, and flair. So it's very important. I'll be showing you one soon in the application form. Our scoring criteria in Annex C are available for you to view at. So you can view their scoring criteria by clicking on this link to see how they're going to be scoring your application. So how do you apply for the scholarship? They recommend you search for a supervisor. If you want to search for supervisor, you would see this is a link as well. If you click on this link, for instance, it shows this is their database for looking for supervisor. These are different field of study. We're using education as an example. I can just filter my choice of education here, select at least one partner university. Let's say I want to go through University of Bath, and here I can search for keyword. I can search for let's say access. I'm just searching for access, then I submit just to see what's going to bring. Like let's say my research is around access, so no items found. So you can still change this search word. You can see AI and society. Let's see what's going to bring. If there are any lecturers researching, so there is a lecturer, Maricame Ortega, University of Bath, education rather, social technical features and digital method. So it means this person can supervise my research. I can just visit this person profile. Then this is the person. Then I can copy this email and send an email to this person. So if you want to know how to send email, if you want to understand how the emailing works, there's a video that I shared on my channel this is the video. This particular one, cold email and search strategy that won me a scholarship in the USA. If you watch this video, you would see a sample of an email that I sent to a prospective supervisor. Yeah, so that would guide you. So that's just how to look for supervisor from their supervisor database. Alternatively, you can go to University of Bath directly and go to their Department of Education or your choice of department and look for supervisor there. That's another thing you can do. So you don't have to use their database to look for supervisor. You can go to your choosing university directly. So we're just back here. Consider collaborating with external partner. This is also very, very important. So I remember when I won the scholarship, I had to look for a collaborative partner to apply the scholarship together, and that increased my chance. You need one as well. So what does this mean? For instance, my research was around education access of people in low-income communities in Nigeria. And there is this NGO in Nigeria that are already doing something around education of people in underserved or on the resource communities in Nigeria. So that means we're doing something that aligns. So what I just did was just meet with them, and I get a letter from them to support my application, saying, okay, maybe they're going to be helping with sample selection, they're going to be helping with policy push and other things. So you can think around how they want to come in with partnership. I'm going to be showing you how soon in the application form that I said I'm going to be sharing. So you'll see there. But it's very important for you to think through your research and think through collaborative partner that you can use on this research. It could be NGO, it could be schools, it could be ministry, it could be anything. Just get a letter from them. It could even be professional organizations. Just get a letter from them to support or to strengthen your application. So ESRC strategy steers. It's very important as well to understand the strategy steers. You can read this yourself, but I think there are two things here: data skills and advanced quantitative method. You can read this to understand. These are just pathways or trainings that you can do before you eventually start your PhD. You can, if your PhD required some advanced quantitative method that you need to learn, you can read this and understand, or email them to understand better. But mine wasn't through this kind of pathway. I just did a master's of research in education, and I jumped on my PhD afterwards. So I didn't do quantitative method because I didn't do advanced quant method because my research doesn't require me to do any advanced quant method. But if you know that, or if you know that your research is going to require an advanced quantitative method, then you can go through this route. So maximum number of applications you can make each year is just one. So you can apply to multiple pathways or multiple universities, only one. So funding deadline again is there. So application for this is separate. So it means that when you're applying for this scholarship, the funding application is separate process from your application to a PhD program offered by one of our partner institutions. Although the process can happen either sequentially or simultaneously depending on which institution you're applying for. And I'll say, for example, University of Bristol, an applicant needs to be accepted onto a PhD program before they can apply for an SWDTP student. So they may need to have applied for a PhD with that institution by early December. At other institutions, an applicant can usually apply for a PhD and simultaneously. Please check locally. So you can see University of Bristol is a little bit different, but I am aware that University of Bath, you don't need to have an admission, you can apply simultaneously. But University of Bristol, if you are choosing University of Bristol, take note, you need a PhD admission before you can apply for the scholarship. So these are links to, or you read what is stated here. Please follow the application procedure of the institution at which you wish to be based. So for instance, University of Bath, let's read the application guide. Aside from the application guide, you would see here, to be considered for studentship funding, you will need to have one, follow the application procedure for the institution at which you'll be based. We'll be looking at that soon. Open that link here. Written a research proposal and completed a studentship application Annex A. So I'll be sharing you this form. This form is very, very important to win this scholarship. That's like the application form. Again, support of a prospective supervisor for your proposal. So when you reach out to prospective supervisors and they agree to supervise your research, they would help you to fine-tune your research and work. They will help you out in the process of the application, and they will also help you with a supporting statement. You're going to be uploading that as well when you're submitting your application. They will write one for you. You download the form, you give it to them. It's called Annex B form. You'll see it down here soon. So they'll complete the form by themselves. They will give it to you, and they will give it to you, or they will either upload it themselves. I don't know. Either way, they know how to sort that out. The supervisor will sort that out for you. Submitted your application for a studentship and all accompanying material not later than this date. So this is what you need to be considered for the scholarship. So we'll be exploring the application procedure at the University of Bath. This is the University of Bath application procedure, applying for ESRC funding on humanities and ORSA. So ORSA is like another internal scholarship by University of Bath. So that's why I love University of Bath. If it happens that you don't get ESRC scholarship, you can express your interest in this ORSA scholarship, and you might be considered for this if you don't get ESRC scholarship. So how do you apply for this scholarship? Through University of Bath? You need to contact a supervisor, like we've said, get a supervisor, check entry requirement for a PhD in relevant department. Then you need to complete application form for relevant department or interdisciplinary stream, that the 4 ones that we mentioned, and you must include all necessary supporting document. So now this is application form. If you click on this link, it will take you to different departments in Bath. We're choosing education. Just go to that department, complete your application for a PhD. What do you need? CV, an academic CV, statement of purpose. This is a sample of a statement of purpose. This is a sample of a CV that I've shared on this YouTube channel. This is a sample of a personal statement that I've shared on this YouTube channel as well. So there are a couple of research proposals that I've shared on this YouTube channel as well. I can help you with your application, so you don't have to worry yourself too much. So here, how to apply for a doctoral study. So once you are done with your application for PhD, remember simultaneously in the process, then I said, in addition to the application for PhD, in addition to when you submit your application for a PhD in education, for example, upload with your application a completed student application form. That is the Annex A form that I said I'm going to be sharing. It is important to recognize that studentship are an extremely competitive process, and so when completing your Annex A, you must carefully read and complete each section. So you can also seek advice from your supervisor, prospective supervisors as well. So you need to also get a statement from your supervisor, that supervisor supporting statement. If you click on this link, you'll be able to download that as well to give to your supervisor to help you complete and upload together with your application. In this university, when you are submitting your application for a PhD, you do that together. And there is also this form that you need to complete. When you complete this form, the information will be held confidential and reported anonymously. They said, please do not upload a copy of this data form to your application form. So don't upload this to your application. Just hold it. They will request for it, then you give it to them separately. But download it completely. Don't upload it together with your application. So interview, if you are found, if your application is found interesting, they will invite you for an interview. So that's how you work at the University of Bath. You can actually read this yourself at your own leisure time. So let's just go back today. So this studentship NXA application form, I'm going to be showing you that soon. But for us to offer you a studentship, you will need to be accepted to a PhD program and be able to commence your study. This one is absolutely fine. Should I apply for a master's or PhD? You don't really need to apply for a master's. If you read what is here, just apply for your PhD. They will be the ones to determine based on your transcript to know if you need a master's or a PhD. But of course, if you have an undergrad, they can tell that yes, you still need to do a master's before you can start a PhD. So completing your need, you can read this yourself. These are just more information. But here you can see, download a copy of student application form, the NXA form that I said I'm going to be sharing soon. And this is a supervisor supporting statement, the same one we saw on the University of Bath website, and copy of scoring criteria NXA. You can download and see how you're going to be scored. And here you can see different examples of research proposals. They provided it here for free. So education research proposal is here, education research, another one, health is here as well. So you can download any of these proposals to use them as a guide when you're writing your own. So let's just next. So the next is like the the frequently asked questions. So if you have any questions, you can just toggle this link and you'll see answers to them. So let's just quickly look at the application form, the NXA form, which is the most important form in this application. So this is the application form. It's actually very simple. This is the form. So this is the institutional contact. If you have any concern, if you have any query, you can reach out to doctoral admission at bath.ac.uk. These are the people you can reach out to in different universities when you are submitting your applications. You can see me, my name, my application number if I have one. If I don't have one, of course, you can leave it blank. But if you submit your PhD application, they will give you an application number. So put that here. Email address, I'm applying as an international. There is international and home. I deleted that one and I live international, so I'm a Nigerian. University of Bath. I'm applying through University of Bath as my path, my university, and pathway is education. Remember, full time, yes. So does your research proposal fit within data skills tier? Yes. If excuse me, if yours doesn't fit, say no. Pathway to which you are applying for education. So 2026, yes. About my research proposal, blah blah blah. There is a lot of information here. You can read all of those things. Your lead supervisor, if you know who the person is, there might be two, there might be three. Put their name here. So I just said name of my lead supervisor, Professor Yusuf, these from each department, these from each university, these. So now research proposal. So you read it strictly. There are things you need to include in your research proposal. So it's 1,300 word limit inclusive of everything except references. So please read this, understand what it means. So this is my topic: reimagining science education in Nigeria and education, inclusion and exclusion of indigenous knowledge through IFA. So this is what I'm proposing to research. For example, please don't copy paste this. This is a public space and thousands of people are watching this video. Yeah, sometimes I got thousands of people watching my video. So please don't copy paste so that you don't just jeopardize your chance of getting the scholarship. So I love opening my research proposal with the broader aim of what I want to do, then followed by just talking of giving some context and followed by giving some literatures on what people are saying. And I just talk about this is the research proposal going and this are my research questions. These are methodology and data. And this is my contribution to knowledge. You can see how I structure that proposal. Contribution to knowledge. Again, method and data, research aims and objective, and this is background and context, and this is the topic. So you can take a screenshot of that. I don't have the time to be reading through the entire thing. It might take time to do that. These are just references, and I put my word count of the proposal. It should be 1,300, and I have 1,014. Yours might be, so just make sure it doesn't exceed 1,000 300 as mentioned. So these are references that you can also include. I just put this one scarcely, but you can make sure your references are well done. It might be APA format you're using, it might be Harvard format you're using. Just make sure you have a very good references. So this is short summary of the research report that I just submitted in 2000 characters. So for people who are non-specialist audience can understand, I just give some a very basic way, very basic explanations to what I want to research. So if you read these, you would see what I'm still trying to talk about. It's still the research, and in 4 paragraphs, I just talk about it. It's just very simple English. You can take a screenshot of that as well to use that as a guide. And research, highlight, and impact in 3 bullet points. That's what they requested here. So, and that's just what I've just done here. You should be doing that for your own as well. Time management and project organizations. You are expected to include a Gantt chart here over 3 years or 3 months or 4 years, whatever the case may be. So here you can see a sample of a Gantt chart. I have done that in Microsoft Excel. I just pasted it here. So you need to do that yourself as well. So things that are not applicable to me, I just put non-applicable, no, no, yes. If it's yes, yes. If it's no, no. And here they're asking for, well, collaborative partner. I think so. Will this research be collaborative with one of my external partners? I said yes. So if yes, I should name the partner and talk about them. So you can see me talk about, yes, this research collaboratively with these people. These are their leading organizations. Please, so you need to talk about the importance of this organization, what they are doing, and how they can help you amplify whatever you're doing or where they're coming into your research. Especially that impact and research dissemination is very important. So you can see what I said about these people that I'm working with each Nigeria. See how I talk about how they want to get involved in my research. And plans for overseas. If you have plans for overseas fieldwork in your research, of course you need to talk about it. And they also request for how long, the cost, if you need language training, and all of those things. So this is just tentative. These are just examples. They're not perfect thing, but just use them as a guide. So estimated cost for overseas work is return flight, all of those things. It equals like 3,950. Remember, it must not exceed 4,000 pounds or so here. And plan to, if you're going to be visiting any institutional overseas, you have access to 3,000 pounds grant to do that. And I'm saying yes because of the kind of research that I'm doing. I really want to visit OAU in Nigeria, and I'm trying to justify the reason why I want to visit them. I'm trying to calculate what I'm going to be spending to visit universities. And yeah, widening participation. I think this is not applicable to international students, but home students, of course, you need to attend to these. If you want to, I think it's optional. It's optional, yeah. So you might not want to attend to it if you want to. Risk assessment and consideration for personal well-being. Yeah, you need to as we want to support our student well-being and make sure our research is practicing with and limit harm to you. So the risk include potential harm to you, your health. In case of research could traumatize you, please describe what conversation you have had with your proposed supervisor about how this risk can be reduced. Please know that although this section is it's not formally scored, it's not scored. So you can talk about the risk involved, maybe where you're going to be conducting your research. Maybe there is a risk of traveling or something. Just talk about even risk of accessing participants, any kind of risk that is connected to your research. Please think about them and include them here. The maximum was 350 words. And you can talk to your supervisor that it's a risk that can actually be managed. It's not going to disrupt your research. There are risks that have a medium or low effect. And this is how you're going to prevent or manage the risk, so it won't affect your research. So that's what you need to do here. And yeah, and this is a very big form as well. Here as well, here I just talk about if you have had a master's in quant or qual or whatever, you must select one from the four, and you can also leave all of this four, or you must select one. So here I said Masters of Research in Education, University of Art. If you've done either of this, I just want to, this is like the main need analysis that they're trying to talk about. So they want to know if you've had enough research experience in terms of quant and qual that you need to do your PhD. So here you have to be very honest. You need to talk about what is inside your transcript, what you've done. You can see me here trying to say, have you done, they're asking you, have you done anything on digital method and digital skills? If it's yes, I was the one who put this times like X sign, X sign, X sign, and three, there are different options within the past year, less than 3 years, plus 3 years ago. I put plus 3 years ago for this particular one high, and I just described that module. Say my master's include a module called data management skills, which I passed with a grade of this extension in the course. I learned that this is me trying to justify that I have the skills. If you don't have the skill, say you don't have the skill, not applicable, so that they can assess whatever you have and see if you need a master's or you need. So that's how to complete this session of the form. And I think there is a statement of originality and authenticity. Yes, you must sign these. You need to sign by entering your name and putting this, and your supervisor as well. Uh, if your supervisor provided any draft or any kind of support or in the press of, so you need to put it there. Supervisor help you with anything, you need to state them here. And yeah, I think that's just all. This is just reiterating what you need to do to be able to complete the application. I think that's just everything about the application. So after submitting your funding application document as an level, you will send a link to another application. It's important to complete that form. So then that says send or upload depending on the institutional process. Depending on your institutional process, a copy of a below to your institution to be considered for ESRC fund. It means that you need to submit a copy of all of these things to be considered for this. Remember, University of Bath, when you're applying for your PhD, you need to upload all of this together with your application to be considered for this scholarship. So that's how the application work in general. So if you have any other question, if you have any other concern, please drop them under this video and I'll try my best to answer them. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that you can get notified when I share useful information like this. Bye.